Hello there and welcome back to another Halloween video. Halloween is fast approaching. We've been speaking in live streams about just how quickly 2025 is coming to an end. So let's not rush this, take it nice and slow. And today we'll be taking a look at a gift with purchase that I'm actually not sure if this is still available. It's been a while, almost a week since we built this live on the channel, and this is the second diorama we've built. But you can check out the safari in its own video. Taking a look on lego.com, going down to offers and sale, where you'll find all of the gift with purchases, and included is that double members points up until Monday, not too long to go. And actually, that's the exact same day the Northern Lights diorama is no longer a gift with purchase. So if you do want to pick this up, £135 isn't too bad if you are looking at some sets, though there are going to be a lot more gift with purchases, especially next month with the sales around Black Friday, and then of course Christmas sales, and before you know it, the January sets are already here. But hold on a second, what did we see on that first page? Because that looked like Lego Ideas 21363. I don't know why I'm still reading out the numbers. It's a problem at this point, but it is the Goonies set, which is 2,912 pieces. So not too badly priced for an Ideas set that is already pretty expensive. And this will be releasing November the 1st. I have to say, the 12 minifigures, including One Eye Willie, I would argue that there are actually 13. Not including any of the skeletons that pop up throughout, but there is an octopus hidden on the side which references a deleted scene from the Goonies. If you know, you know. That thing's creepy. But on one side we have a boat, which is a very display piece. Reminds me actually a lot of the Baratti from Monkey Kid, which is a Lego set. And that is very similar in the sense that the outside looks like the outside of the ship, and then the inside has a load of fun little details stored throughout. And although the cave isn't inside the boat where they go through all the traps, I love the fact that Lego have included that on the lower levels. We only really see one room of the boat, maybe two, and the deck, so there wasn't too much they could fit into it, and they've even made it look like the cave from the other side. This is an amazing set. I am very tempted to pick this one up. It's got the minifigures, it's got the display, it's got the playability. What more do you want from a Lego set? And also, that skeleton organ looks awesome. But back to the video, where we're going to be taking this Northern Lights diorama, aka the Aurora Borealis, which is derived itself from the Greek words aurora, meaning sunrise, and borealis, meaning wind, because the Northern Lights, to dumb it down way too much for anyone that knows anything about science, is basically when the sunrise catches the wind, which is a nice way of putting it. But we've built the diorama here. I want to take this up a notch and make this the perfect minifigure display. We're not going to be turning this round like the Goonies ship and adding some interior to the forest or building anything minifigure scale, but instead, after making some Halloween minifigure displays for my mum, which are on display and look lovely by the way, I want to add my Halloween minifigures to this gift with purchase and see just how spooky we can make it look. Before we get my minifigures down, I would like to say this is very wintry. It's definitely more of a Christmas display than Halloween, and it makes sense for Lego to release that this week, because as we get closer to Christmas, these gift with purchases and any online orders are going to be taking a lot longer to ship, a lot longer to arrive, and the chances are most of you won't be getting this till Christmas anyway, because some of the sets you may have ordered this with are also on backlog. And that's not just the good sales either. A lot of the new sets that have been very popular, like the Gingerbread 8080, there is an update video coming very, very soon on that. But that has gone on backlog pretty much instantly, and then it came back in stock and is already on backlog again. So this is a great build for Christmas, but let's make it spooky. Here we have my Halloween minifigures in the old Lego Builder mini cases from Lego stores. If you remember it, smash a like on the video. Those were the good old days. And we've got a total of 9 minifigures inside. The first case is the Lego Witches. I guess I should really add some Halloween backdrop to this, but we've got our 3 witches that we did pick up off the Builder Mini. This nice blue wizardy robed like one. Then we've got more of a scarecrow with the pitchfork. Maybe the pitchfork is used to fly, and then we've got the Spider Queen, but don't be mistaken, they're all witches at heart. And then the next 6 we've got aren't all from the Builder Mini. We do have the pumpkin that we picked up last year. I think I'm right in saying this was 2 years ago, because we picked these up for the Lego City. We then also have the pumpkin, which is one of my favorite. I really like the color scheme, alongside these 2 Christmas themed, maybe these are trick-or-treaters. We have a wonky mohawk on this one, which is an amazing piece as well, because it's a nice rubbery TPU. And I think going forward, all hair pieces should just be TPU. You're able to pose them a bit differently. This guy is in a flame torso, which is really, really nice. Gloves to match the hair. And then we also have this skeleton tracksuit, which was on the Builder Mini. Maybe this one was last year as well. We might have picked up a few last year. But that and the pumpkin are my 2 favorite in the collection. The skeleton tracksuit is genius. And I guess a little look at what a Minecraft skeleton could have looked like if they went with the minifigures rather than the skeleton accessories. We have a clown, because what's spookier than a clown? Some people are afraid of clowns, and I think that is why they're paired with Halloween. Then we have an old polybag zombie coffin driver, which was given out in newspapers here in the UK. And last but not least, number 9, we have this crazy scientist. Both the scientist and the clown have been robbed of their legs and are using land speeder Luke legs. Maybe we can add some black boots to them so they at least replicate what they originally looked like, the scientist, coming with the legs that we now have seen on Thrawn. And I can't remember what we stole them for. The Luke Landspeeder legs also line up perfectly with the torso of this mad scientist. So if you do have it, I'd recommend picking up some Luke legs very, very cheap after the millions of sets we've got him in. And maybe painting some black boots on him as well. So these 9 minifigures probably aren't all going to fit. And I think if we could fit 8 of them and then have like the pumpkin standing out front with a little happy Halloween tile, something like that could look really cool. But the 3 witches also don't have to go on this display. And it's kind of why I've pushed the fact that they are witches in the first place, because with these 3, if we give the Spider Queen, I've got to think of something that they can ride, because the wizard can be levitating, the Scarecrow has the pitchfork to ride, and maybe we'll give the Spider Queen a broom, because so many spiders are brutally murdered with brooms every single year, yada yada yada, and I think that works. All 3 of these characters can be just floating. Maybe we even stand them on top. Sometimes my genius even surprises myself, because we did move all the plates in by one and had to switch out a few of the plates used to fill in this pack in, so that we couldn't see any of the black outline from the side without looking like straight on, if you know what I mean. And that's given us the perfect space to add brackets on the back that can stand up these 3 minifigures. I think if we grab some of the dark blue brackets that have the 4 studs and point upwards, just like you can see, not only will it camouflage in with the night sky, but the fact that they're pointing out over the sky will also give somewhat of an illusion of them flying. Alternatively, we can also attach some of these brackets onto the display itself and have them, you know, in the night sky. No, that one covers up the moon too much. The moon is a glow-in-the-dark element, and I'm tempted, so tempted, to remove the northern lights, you know, the whole point of this diorama, and replace them with plain white elements for clouds, which is a bit spookier. But at the same time, it's the Northern Lights diorama. I can't get rid of the Northern Lights, not to mention the fact that if I add too many clouds, I guess it would work. But then they'd also look a lot like the moon, so I'm not sure how that would come across. For now, I'm just going to add all 3 of these minifigures over the top. Spider Queen in the middle, she seems like the most powerful one. And then we can always come back and add some more accessories. Actually, I really like how that looks. This is a minifigure display. I would love for them to be in more action poses, so we'll have to sort that out with the remaining minifigures. But this does look pretty cool. Next up, let's get some other figures hidden. Maybe this is a little trick and treat going on, and I guess they got tricked if they've ended up in a forest. No house is visible here. Maybe we can add a little witch's hut on the ledge. That would be an awesome little diorama as well, but probably be easier using a Minecraft set for it. And I kind of want to get the zombie and mad scientist in a Frankenstein-like scene somewhere around. Maybe the zombies like emerging. Oh, we can remove the legs of the zombie, and genuinely there are enough studs to get him emerging, or her, or them emerging from... Oh no, we can get him emerging from the front. And the evil scientist here, I've already assumed that he is evil, so that's not going to be changed. Can be just cackling away to the side. Let's see if we can position him at an angle. If not at an angle, maybe one leg back and just cackling up to the moon. Look at that. And then the pumpkin can stand right at the front here, which is not exactly... Oh wait, that's a wedge. All right, let's do some surgery to this diorama. Replace the angled off wedge with just a 2x2 corner plate, and then we can stand the pumpkin down. There we go. That should give us enough space to get the pumpkin standing out the front. And now we just need to add our 3 trick-or-treaters somewhere in the background. I feel like hiding these out somewhere on the side, that there might be like one stud clear and the clown can hide just there poking out. You know they're there. Maybe that's too obvious. Is there any way I can hide them a little bit more? There's a little gap down here for a hand, so we should be able to sneak another figure on the side, and then we just need to hide this guy somewhere in the middle of the display. There was a stud behind one of the trees, I think it's this tree, that would be perfect to hold a minifigure. Maybe we'll move the tree forward one just to give them a bit more space, and they're just watching. Oh, this is perfect. The grey and black torso blends into the rockwork, so they genuinely are hiding out. I think the bright orange mohawk does kind of give them away, but it was that easy to turn this gift with purchase. I keep using the word easy. Nothing's easy when it comes to Lego, and we do have just a pair of zombie legs that are now walking around. Maybe we can add that to the display. We'll get the zombie legs walking further upstream, so the zombies being chased. That is some C-3PO Lego Star Wars Skywalker Saga stuff right there. Now we've got 9 minifigures on this tiny display. Let's see if we can improve some of the poses up here. I feel like if we at least got some of these brackets on jumpers, we would be able to position them sideways. So I want to see how that looks first. It looks better from the back. I just don't know how far. Is that too far? That actually looks better because we're giving them their own space, and it does look like they're flying more than just standing on top. What we need now is like a giant spider for the Spider Queen to ride. If any of you remember the Lego City where we did upscale a spider, that was awesome. But I don't think that's fitting on this display. And speaking of, I don't even know where I put that. So here we go. There's our Halloween minifigure display. It's a lot better than just storing them in these yellow containers. Now that we've removed our Halloween minifigures and put them on display, let's find something to fill these old Build-A-Mini cases with. In fact, I already have the perfect idea, because when I was making the CMFs for Star Wars, all 25 CMFs of over 300 minifigures for my display case, there was one series that I think would fit really well in these cases on display above the door that I just don't use in any mocks. And that series is my classic Lego Star Wars minifigures. Some of these minifigures, like Leia from the Slave One, are part of the 20th anniversary, and some of them are just genuinely older minifigures that have been in my collection for quite some time, and I've picked up either through sets that I've purchased or sets that I was given when I was a kid. And thankfully, I own exactly 12 of these, but right now I only have 2 cases. You see, usually I have Christmas and Halloween minifigures on display year round, and that does mean that I'm kind of used to these being out. It's not special when they come down and they're unboxed. And I think I'm going to change this for next year. Well, I guess it's not Christmas already, so it does also count me taking these down to get them back out in like 2 weeks. So I'm not going to show off all of my Christmas minifigures. You've seen most of them before. And this year, Lego are going to make a Golden Santa for the Build-A-Mini, which is... It's an interesting choice. It is an interesting choice, but I would be lying if I didn't say the Santa was really cool. Now we have 4 of these displays, 3, 6, 9, 12, totaling the 12 minifigures that I own of classic Lego Star Wars. The hardest part is going to be pairing these into 3. We can get the Hoth ones out of the way, the old Scout Trooper, the Snow Trooper, and then the AT-AT Pilot, all in white. The AT-AT Pilot and the Scout Trooper, technically not accurate to Hoth, but they both come in Hoth sets, and that leaves the other 3 Imperials, Darth Vader, who has a 1x1 translucent brick holding that helmet above the head so that you can see it. The Stormtrooper and the TIE Pilot, kind of A New Hope versus Empire Strikes Back here, though A New Hope also works for Return of the Jedi. And now things are going to get tricky. We can include Leia, and Leia tries to contact Kenobi through a droid sent to Luke. I don't own a classic R2-D2. I own one of the older ones, but it's not quite classic, and that gives the last 3 minifigures being Luke. 3PO is technically the droid. 3PO and Luke could definitely switch around between these 2 sets, and then we also have our Han Solo, showing off that 20th anniversary back in, which is only present on 3 of these minifigures. I should have definitely picked up more of those anniversary sets. This collection is really missing Lando. But I think this will make a really nice display above the door. Being a massive Lego fan, being a massive Star Wars fan, it kind of goes without saying. Now, the real question I have to ask myself is which order I display these in. I know we've just grouped them up into 3s, but I'm feeling maybe the heroes either side of the Imperials is nice. What I would want to switch up is starting off with Luke, Kenobi, Leia, then going into Darth Vader and the Troopers, and then maybe switching it up again, going with our heroes that take down the Death Star, and then moving on to Empire Strikes Back, so that we've got a little timeline, albeit not entirely accurate. It's kind of not bad. I guess the Stormtrooper and Vader should be up there with Leia, but then that puts Han, Luke, and the TIE Pilot as our pilots, Kenobi, Luke, and 3PO. I quite like that. Let me know what you think of the order, and if I should switch this around, or which order you would display if you were to have all 12 minifigures. But now let's put these on the wall. For the most part, that was a success, but the minifigures definitely need some sort of sideways 2x3, maybe like a 2x3 and a jumper to hold them in the correct orientation. I think they're probably going to move around every time the door opens, so I'm not going to be too fussed about switching those up. But let's take one last look at our Halloween diorama, which does look really, really nice. You saw how easy it was to add these minifigures onto the sets, and I see so many posts of a little bit more complex builds with just minifigures added over in the community tab. Thank you for sharing all of your creations. They do just look this good. Minifigures add a lot to a set, and they're also so iconic. Be sure to share your Halloween displays in the community, and until next time, may the bricks be with you always.